I've got this concern, and I deliberately going to talk about it. I had some couple of videos where the blacks got to complain that they've been treated badly by the white. But let's call it spade a spade. I want us to go to a black man's lifestyle, culture, behaviors, and all that. Take, for example, in the state, what's happening? The blacks are basically in the blacks, right? Good. When you go down to Nigeria, the Yoruba man don't like the Igbo man. The Igbo man don't like the Yoruba man. The Hausa man don't like the Igbo man. Neither does he like the Yoruba man. When you come to Kenya, the Kikuyu people don't like the Meru people or don't like the Luo people. You see, this is where the problem is. These white people looks at us, look how we live together, look how we appreciate each other, look how we love each other, because a house divided by its own cannot stand, and the enemy can only penetrate into a house when there's no unity in that house. You say the Kikuyu ain't good, but you, being somebody from Luya, should understand the fact that you and another Luya man has two different personalities. You people are not the same person. The same way you feel like the Igbo man isn't good or the Yoruba man isn't good, we should not forget that as much as I, being an Igbo, will tell you the Yoruba man is not good, should I not forget the fact that I also have my Igbos who could probably be propagating the same kind of lifestyle the Yorubas are doing when it comes to whatever opinion I feel like I could say the Yoruba man is not good for. How do we judge people by their ethnic group? How do we judge people by tribes? Then we forget one thing in a hurry, that as much as we are judging ourselves, the skin color is the same. I don't understand what's going on. And then you say the white are practicing racism. Should the blacks not deserve it? I think the black deserve that act. Because if it's something that we the blacks don't like, if it's something that we feel like it's a right they're taking away from us, the question is, we are not even loving each other, we are killing each other. We are hurting each other, we're taking advantage of each other. We are stepping on each other's toes. We're betraying each other. We are not even supporting each other. But look at the white. They build infrastructures that favors them. They keep building themselves. And we keep killing ourselves. We keep hurting ourselves. When they're done building, they tell us to get out. They say we don't know how to manage. They say we're full of lavish lifestyles. They say we don't have opportunities to create businesses. That's because we are not even united by our own selves. They take that as an advantage to give us all these stories that are invalid. When people see that you have failed, they can use your act of failure against you. You go to South Africa, the South Africans don't want the Nigerians in there. The South African comes to Kenya, the Kenyans don't want the South Africa in it. The Kenyan goes to Zimbabwe, the Zimbabweans don't want the Kenyans in there. Surely what's going on? These were the same thing Gaddafi was trying to talk about. These were the same issues Gaddafi was trying to like stress out. We don't even love each other as Africans. An African man cannot meet a fellow African man and entrust his money into his hands without even getting to know what village he's from, whether he's married. You need his ID, you need his car number, you need his house address, you need a whole lot of that information from that man. Because you don't even trust your own fellow African man. But watch a white man come to the table. You see that black man wire millions of dollars to his account without even being too sure where his house address is. And the problem with Africans, we only want to listen to advices that comes out from the famous superstar. If it's not a popular musician, whatever you're saying is not making sense. And excuse me, I just speaking on your behalf sincerely. How many times have you seen them come out to speak on your behalf? If you feel like their voice are to be heard, how many times have they spoken? But when other people trying to give this sermon, trying to give this advices, trying to give this insight, is not considered valid, because an African man needs you to be famous, an African man needs you to be too rich, an African man needs you to be well known before he can start accepting what you're telling him or her. What's going on? We treat ourselves like common slaves, and then we expect the white people to respect us. We expect them to love us. We expect them to have phobias for us, but then we forget that we are everything that they don't have. But because of one thing, they took advantage of us. Because of the fact that we do not love ourselves genuinely, they took advantage of us. Because I remember vividly, my white friend was in Kenya and she was locked up inside the house by the agent, by the caretaker of that particular apartment. She put a call across to the U.S. Embassy in Kenya here. That happened in 2016. I was here. It was not even up to 10 minutes. The owner of that property called her on the phone, apologizing. Do you know what the rule was? How would you lock up an American citizen inside the house, holding her hostage? They took advantage of that scenario. They took effect and they took action immediately. The owner of that property had to call my white friend, had to beg her to drop the case, because already that is a case. When the American flag goes up, they say, God bless America. But when we wake up every morning, we complain about the bad leaders we have. We complain about the bad road. We complain about poverty. We complain about electricity. We complain about a whole lot of things. But at the end of the day, we use tribalism to elect a president to rule over us, not to lead us. When there was Corona breakout in the world, every other countries were giving benefit to citizens. What happens to Africans? I could remember there was this fund the United States were giving to every Americans. I think it was the Corona, was it the COVID funds where everybody has to apply online? It was for everybody. It was for everybody. Benefit funds. It was for everybody in America. Every other country did the same. Just because they want themselves to be at equilibrium, they don't want part of them to fall. Because a house divided by its own cannot stand. What's going on? When we speak, our voice is not being heard. Yes, obviously it's not going to be heard. And that's the same reason as to why we're still going to be where we are. Because obviously when the voice is not to be heard, then we're going to be where we are. You want this person to be the next president. You want your tribal man to be the next president. But the question is, does that man being the president, does he even know you? He does not know you. He could even come from your clan, but he does not even know you. Are you concerned about who is being the president, or you're concerned about who is going to reflect a progressive economical growth that reflects on the life of every individual? Are we concerned about that? Or we are concerned about the fact that I want my own person to be there? A Nigerian man would say, I want the Yoruba man to be the next president. That's because it's coming from a Yoruba man. I don't want an Igbo man to be the next president. An Igbo man would be, I want the Igbo man to be the next president. I don't want the Yoruba man to be the next president. Excuse me, surely. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many Hausas that did not benefit from Buhari's administrations? Which likely I might even end up telling you that most of the Yorubas and the Igbos benefited more than the Hausas. Do you know how many times a Yoruba president has not favored his own people, but yet other people were favored by the administration? What are we concerned about? Are we concerned about the person who leads us, or we are concerned about the futures, the attribute, the factors of leadership? I don't care who is the next president. I don't care who is the next leader. The most important thing is he should lead us from the hands of the pharaohs to the promised land. The promised land is the goal. If we were concerned about who is leading us, then we'll have a problem. These were the same problem the children of Israelites faced in the land of Egypt, when most of them could not believe in Moses. We did not believe in a leader. They didn't believe in Moses. Everybody gave excuses. Moses wasn't not the same child of the Pharaoh. Moses wasn't not the same person who is from here. A lot of people found it very difficult to believe Moses. We were concerned about the leader, but not concerned about God's promises to remove the children of Israelites from the hands of the Egyptians. We weren't concerned about that, but we are so concerned about who is leading us. That's why when Moses took them to the seashore, they said, why did you even bring us here to die? Because we could have even been in Egypt and died. They don't even believe in who the Lord has sent. They don't believe in that person that will give them leadership. They don't. They don't. What are we concerned about? Concerned about tribalism, religion? I don't get it. Am I supposed to be concerned about who the next president of Nigeria is? Or I'm supposed to be concerned that I know with the new elected president, the Nigerian economy would be stable. They'll be able to eradicate poverty. Like everybody outside, like in the diaspora areas, would even feel the impact of what's going on. And yet we forgot. And Hausa man don't want a Yoruba man to be the next president. But when the Naira fell and dollarized, it affected the Hausa man too. If an Igbo man becomes the next president and $100 is 10,000, $100 is 100,000 in Nigeria, it's going to affect both the Yorubas and the Hausas. If an Igbo man is there and choose to change the price of fuel to 500 per liter, it's not going to just affect the Yorubas and the Hausas. It's also going to affect the Igbos. What are we doing? We should be looking at somebody who would come in and make life all better for us. They don't know us, but they can know us through the economical growth, the economical stability. They can know us by making life better for all of us, not just for some categorical kind of people. Are we concerned of who is sitting there, or we are concerned of who is taking us to the promised land? I said, change is progressive, but not all change is truly progressive. Just like they will say, change is constant, but not all change is progressive. Most oftentimes, we are changing what we need to repair, and we are repairing what needs to be changed. We should start thinking